evening, good afternoon from wherever you're tuning in. Welcome back, y'all, to Tea and Tarot Live with your sis, Moon Magic, where moods and melodies meet over tarot and beats. Welcome back to this last episode of Tea and Tarot here on Instagram Live. We're going to continue with Tea and Tarot over on the Patreon. If you are interested in continuing to be part of the community, make sure you go to the Patreon. That's where we will continue to do these live weekly type of community collective readings. For the lowest membership, it is $5.55. You do have to be an active member to access these Tea and Tarot. So if you're interested, definitely check that out. But this is going to be the last one that's going to be here on the Instagram Live. And I've been mentioning this for quite a while here on this space about thinking about transitioning out of doing them here on the live, because typically during the spring and summer, I don't tend to do the Tea and Tarot Live. I did the same thing last year. And next week is going to be my birthday. It's also going to be the beginning of spring equinox. And it feels like a good place to stop because I'm actually going home that evening to visit family, and I'm on spring break. And yeah, so if you're interested in joining us and continuing to be here in the Tea and Tarot space, please join us over there. You can find my Patreon at www.moonmagicflows.com. I will put all the information down below on the playback, but also here in the chat if you're interested. There's also a free option to join the Patreon. That one won't have access to the Tea and Tarot collective readings, but it is also still a hub to stay involved with what we're doing in the community and pose questions, and to be able to kind of have a hub where there's a central location of different things that connect to tarot stuff and music stuff that I do. I still post a lot of content on the Patreon that is a part of the free membership tier. And yeah, let's go ahead and check in. How are we all doing this week? I'm going to go ahead and put the information here for those who are interested in joining us for Tea and Tarot over on that hub. And if you're interested in donating, please donate to my Cash App or to my Venmo at Moon Magic Flows. It goes a long way. I am a full-time student and a full-time artist. So yeah, I really appreciate those who do donate and take the time to spread the love, especially during these times with so much going on. But yeah, how's everyone doing? How's everyone's week going? How has the vibes been for you all? I know Jupiter just went direct. Can we feel that energy? I know I can definitely feel the forward movement of things happening, and areas in which things kind of have been stalled starting to pick up in different ways. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you all and hear how this week has been treating you in your personal, professional, etc. lives, wherever you feel called to share down below here on the live or back on the playback. Got my coffee. I hope y'all got your tea or whatever drink you have. I also got my water. Y'all know this is my favorite combo. And we're going to dive into the cards here and see what the vibes are for this week. It's currently midterms week for your girl here. I posted some cool snippets of my first midterm for the live sound class that I'm in on my story. And the second midterm that I had today was for my music theory class. And it definitely kicked my butt, y'all. I had to, go home and cry about it. But, I'm feeling a little bit better now. The ear training part of it has been just brutal. But it's good. I need it. You know what I mean? I know it's going to help me to grow and become a better musician and a better artist. Aside from midterms this past week, I've also just been gearing up for my trip down south. As I mentioned, I'm going to be going down south to visit family, and been supporting the ladies over at Flip a Beat Club, who have been performing all March long for Women's Month, which has been really awesome to see the ladies shine and do their thing. And we also have a show March 28th here in Sacramento called Femme Frequency with SAC Artist Collaborations. There are several producers who are going to be featured on that, poets and featured artists, including Alyssa the G, Satya, Maida, Mel, Raya in the Sky, J. Rowe, myself, Miss Vame, and Ebony Ezra. So I hope to see you all there on March 28th at Music Landria. And then I'll be the next day over in Oakland for Her Story, which is going to be put on by AMR Productions, and they're doing a femme showcase over in Oakland in the Bay Area. So all my Bay Area people, I hope to see you there. It's going to be hosted by Marvelous and CMG from Conscious Daughters, so come through. It's going to be a good time. Shout out to Nicole Gentry up in the building. Good to see you. But yeah, those are the updates for me. If anyone's got some updates, share down below. I'd love to hear what's going on in your world. And if there's anything you want to share that you have happening. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and dive into the reading today. Let me grab my little sound bowl. And let's ground in. Again, I like to take this time to ground in, just to always, no matter where we came from, no matter what we're doing, it's just such a great opportunity to take the time to really check in with our bodies, check in with our minds. We have so much going on in the world, so much stress, so much on our minds, so much in our bodies that are happening on a subconscious and conscious level, that it's just a great opportunity to really intentionally check in with ourselves and see how we're feeling, see how we're doing, notice what parts of our body may be calling our attention, and what's on our heart today that you may ask for guidance for. And if nothing comes to mind, it's just a great opportunity to practice being open and some mindfulness. And we're going to take a couple deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Thanking your guides, my guides, and the divine for this space today. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose. Asking for these messages to come in with exact clarity that you need in whatever area you may need it right now, to make perfect sense on your journey and to best support you wherever you are for your highest good. Deep breath out. Another deep breath in. Taking notice to whatever's on your heart today, and speaking a little prayer of intention that those messages may come through to speak directly to that. Deep breath out. Last deep breath in. Just asking that this time be a sacred container and protected from outside distractions as we do this work, so we can clearly hear these messages and have the discernment to know how they apply. Deep breath out. And so it is. Whenever you feel comfortable, you can open your eyes if your eyes were closed. And let's go ahead and hop into the reading today. All right, let's go ahead and see what energy comes through. I'm going to go ahead and move this down so you all can see the cards. All right. What messages want to come through today? We have Nine of Rods, Page of Pentacles, and the World card. I'm going to give you all some time to vibe with your intuition. As I always say, there is no hierarchy to me in tarot. I think that the cards can speak to all of us. And while, of course, when you work with the cards, you get more understanding of their messages and have a relationship built with them over time, definitely lean into your intuition if there's anything that sticks out to you. If you see something that brings up a story or colors that stand out to you or symbols, let me know down below, either here on the live or on the playback. Immediately, this card with the World card reversed World card reverse always for me gives me the energy of something not being done yet, not being completed yet, not being finished. Page of Pentacles and the Nine of Rods together gives me this feeling of being defensive or being on edge or being with your back against the wall and being challenged in some sort of way, being just being in a place that is very if you see the Nine of Rods here, this is an energy that is very tense. This is an energy where this can be between another person, this could be global energy, this could be a relationship. This overall is a sense of very tense energy, frustrated energy, the need to hold on to what you have, the need to like kind of grasp at straws, so to speak. This is an energy of needing to defend yourself, to stand your ground, to stand up for what you believe in, to push against something. And it can also be a feeling of feeling like your back is against the wall and having to like, you know, kind of go into survival mode in certain ways. It's a very passionate energy, a very passionate card. And it's one that can be very tense and built up emotion behind it as well. Now, what's interesting is that this card came out with the Page of Pentacles. And the Page of Pentacles is all about energies like this, situations like this. It's showing this as an opportunity that is bringing something of value to you. So this challenge, this energy of tension being an opportunity that is being presented, and being presented in a way that is for ultimately a larger lesson, a larger graduation, so to speak, a larger understanding, a larger full circle moment that has yet to be completed, right? So this could be, experiencing some sort of tense energy with a person specifically, or within yourself, right? And being frustrated by the moment. But ultimately, that situation is there to build you up for something that must be completed here, so that this World card turns upright. It's giving the energy of like failing and needing to fail in order to persevere and become better. It's giving that energy of, being told no or being in conflict, and that conflict is what leads to resolution. It's the energy of ultimately being pushed to something greater, and it's not in a necessarily positive feeling in the moment. This could be that feeling of feeling, like I said, with your back against the wall and like you have no other option, but you have to do this thing, and that's what is going to turn this wheel of fortune upright. It's like those moments in life where maybe you've stood still or wasn't sure about what to do about something, or may have been like, oh, this is okay. It's no longer okay. You have to take some sort of action on that thing now. And it's uncomfortable. It's hard work, and it's asking for you to rise to the occasion. And whether you want to or not, it's quite forcibly making you have to rise to the occasion, is the way that this energy is showing up. It's showing up as a really kind of tough love when you get kind of left out in the cold and have to learn the hard way. That's what this kind of energy is. So definitely take a moment to pause and feel how this might be applying to your life. If these cards spoke to you in a different way, let me know down below. I always love hearing the way that the cards are speaking to others on the live or on the playback. But immediately with the Nine of Rods and the Page of Pentacles, it gives the feeling of like frustration and challenge being something that's necessary at this moment for growth. In whatever area you may be experiencing frustration or challenge, it may be a signal to really pay attention to that frustration and challenge and what it's trying to communicate with you, because it's ultimately leading you towards some sort of higher understanding or graduation here. Graduation of knowledge, a higher understanding of existence. That could be like, for example, maybe you're frustrated by this thing and it's showing you in a way that you used to give your power away, and you're realizing through this frustration that you are giving your power away, and now it's making you reconsider why you do the thing that you do. Or it can make you reconsider the friendship or the relationship, or it could be forcing you to, you can't take a shortcut in whatever it is. You have to do the workout every day, or eat healthy, or whatever it may be that the work is asking you to do in order to ultimately reach the goal that you're trying to make it to get to that level. And in a larger sense of things that are happening around us in our communities and further higher up, we can see this energy of tension that is happening, that is really putting our backs against the wall, that it's kind of showing how we need to kind of go through this conflict in order to rise to greater understanding, in order to create something new, in order to reach newer understanding. That's the way that this energy is coming through for me at this moment. Alrighty, let's go ahead and pull a Lenormand card for this and see what comes through. I'm really interested to see what Lenormand card will come out for this reading today. I feel like the same cards always come out with this, but at least you're on the collective reading. But some energy is slow moving, and there's always like repetitive patterns I've noticed doing this every week that kind of cycle for a while. Ship. Okay. This is definitely giving like going and coming energy. This also confirms to me that this is a kind of similar to last week of like, it's not forever. It's kind of interesting because this message is almost opposite of last week, right? Like last week was like a moment in the sun, a moment of like joy, a moment of gratitude, a moment of acknowledgement of how far we've come. And then this week there's this energy of like being in this tense conflict or challenge of some sort. And the ship card just made me think of like the tides of an ocean and the coming and going and the rise and fall and that kind of energy that was similar to what we saw last week. But it also is giving me this energy of like more is yet to come, which keeps coming in with the World card reverse. Like this mission energy story is not done being told, has not been completed, etc., etc. So I'm going to go ahead and read this card. And, I always like to read the cards, especially for the Lenormand and the Oracle cards, because I feel, I'm not going to block your messages. If there's something more than what I'm saying, I definitely want you to get the full amount of, what you can get from your intuition as well. So just listen to the description, and if it resonates, take that in. And if it doesn't, that message is probably not for you. It says the ship card points to a greater journey ahead. This path cannot be traveled by foot. The current circumstances are changing, even without additional effort from the current. It can also mean longing for or the love of adventure. It is time for expanded horizon and new perspectives. Sorry, y'all, the coffee was calling me. There is movement without a set outcome, an event in the distant future, wishes, subconscious, prosperity, trade, patience. In regards to relationships, this card can refer to a long-term relationship and to wait rather than rushing something. To let something come to you, to listen to your inner voice, to leave something or a situation behind, to invite something new. A ship can arrive and at the same time it can leave. To start something new, to put all your eggs in one basket, to travel for pleasure or business, to practice patience, to just let things happen without interfering, to think about whatever you have taken as the right path, or to simply just desire for something else. Yeah, and with this card, what really stuck out to me as I was reading it was that idea of like patience, because it was mentioned multiple times, but also that idea of like, because this message came through for a reading that I was doing for someone on the Patreon, because the highest tier in the Patreon those members get a reading from me every single month. And I was doing a reading with one of my Patreon members a couple days ago, and one of the energies that was coming through was this feeling of feeling like we're not doing the right thing, because we're experiencing this conflict and this tension, but not realizing that this conflict and this tension is the right thing. It's happening on our path because we need to experience that conflict and tension to grow, because we need to experience that uncomfortability in order to grow, because conflict and tension to a degree can be really healthy for you, because it's what pushes us oftentimes to work on things that we wouldn't work on otherwise. And I've noticed that a lot of the things that create big changes in your life, in my own life, and the life of the people I've worked with and done tarot readings, tend to be situations that are not pleasant in the moment, but when they look back on the situation, they're so thankful that it happened, because it forced them to make the changes they needed to make. And it's giving that same kind of energy to where if you find yourself in this kind of tense or uncomfortable position, to not take it as something you're doing wrong necessarily, or why is this happening, but as oh, this challenge here, this uncomfortability is actually what I need to grow right now. And to see it as something that is right in timing with your path, rather than feeling like it's showing you're out of alignment or something like that. That came through for me as I was reading this. But definitely, if anything else came through for you, definitely take that as a message for you, okay? All right, let's go ahead and pull some advice cards and see what comes through. Crack my knuckles real quick. Sorry, they're feeling tense. Another sip of the coffee. All right, what advice do you have for us, Spirit, with this energy here? Magician. Rise to that occasion. Let's go. You wouldn't be given this. You would not. This is coming through so strongly. You would not be given this challenge if you were not able to rise to the occasion. It actually kind of makes me want to cry. But no, but really, we wouldn't be given this task. We wouldn't be given this opportunity. We wouldn't be given this challenge in general, tension, uncomfortability, having our back against the wall to push us to be able to rise to the occasion, if Spirit did not believe that we could rise to the occasion. If Spirit didn't say, hey, you have all the tools actually here in front of you to be able to Page of Pentacles and turn this world card around. You just got to pick up the tools and do the work. And that's the hard part. It's doing the work that's the hard part, But Spirit's very clearly the advice here is coming through as but you can do it. I am that will, that desire. How bad do you want it? If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Whatever it is for you, fill in the blank. Also, this card, the Magician card here, is also connected very heavily to the Aries energy. And next week, we will be transitioning into the beginning of Aries season. So this advice card here also could be showing that sometime within the next couple of weeks, you might see this energy clear up. Since this is the energy of the Aries season 2, so you might find that things, that desire, that will is coming through stronger during the Aries season for you. But I feel like this as an advice card is very, very clear of just you have all the tools, you are able to do this, to believe in yourself and to will it to existence, whatever it is. What else do you want to say about that, Spirit? I know it's easier said than done, that's for sure. Six of Rods. You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. You're going to figure it out. It's going to come together. You will be victorious. You will be taken care of. And clarity will come eventually. It may not feel like it right now, but that's just part of the journey. Yeah, Two of Rods reverse. and part of something larger that's outside of us. Sometimes it's part of the greater scheme we can't see in the moment, you know? But that's where our faith comes in. That's where our practice comes in. That's where our discipline comes in. Hey, and community. You know, this could be really connecting with friends and spirit. Friends and spirit. That's, yeah. You know, and finding those resources and people around you who help to ignite your fire, to help to, you know, who you can depend on, whether that's just, you know, being able to talk about something, or, you know, being able to celebrate something, or being able to share in an activity that makes you feel better for you know, when you have a hard, challenging moment. That could be like your weekly book club you're in, or being able to help with community service, or being part of a club. And then 8 of Cups, like really spending time with spirit, really spending time replenishing your soul and asking those tough questions and seeking that inner guidance and clarity. Because what's really coming through too that's really strong is that, like, there's no easy way out. Like, Angel of Expression is coming through again. I'm not going to read this card because I've been reading this card a lot here. But Angel of Expression is definitely about speaking your truth, expressing yourself, and to, you know, dive into those creative manifesting and magician willing type of energies. So I'm just going to hide her because she's a little indecent. And this one says, Angel of New Life, an exciting new chapter is about to unfold. And this card also gives me the same energy of that Aries energy, because Aries is the first of the zodiac of the traditional astrology, and that energy of spring and new life, and, you know, going into springtime next week. This is definitely a card that's kind of signifying that freshness, and that, you know, seeds that are sprouted have to have a certain desire to become unearthed out of the ground. You know, birth is a painful process, you know, it's not something that is non-traumatic, you know, it's traumatic for the mothers, it's traumatic for the babies. It's giving that same kind of energy here. But on the other side of that is new life and expression and raw, creative, pure, fertile energy that is so potent and able to transform some of the darkest, dire circumstances into something new. And that's really what is coming through as the advice as to something to remember and something to lean on in this time. And to really have that kind of knowledge of knowing that things will, you know, you will be able to do this thing, whatever this thing is that you are working towards. All right, I'm going to read this one, but let me cover her up too, because she, you know, she out there. All right, Angel of New Life. It says, the Angel of New Life is here to announce that a new chapter of your life is about to unfold. Over the coming days and weeks, you will begin to feel a sense of renewed clarity, purpose, and direction. New, magical, and exciting things begin to happen as you intuitively are guided to explore new avenues and possibilities for your life. Through this process, you will uncover aspects of yourself that you didn't know you had. Embrace this new and exciting period of your life and know that the past is now behind you. Your life is forever changing, and you are forever evolving to greater spheres of light and love through wondrous spirit of creation. Enjoy the journey and all the blessings coming your way. Yeah, I really feel this is super deeply connected to how this moment here is really unearthing and uncovering aspects of self that maybe you didn't know were there, or maybe are parts that just really need some kind of tender, loving care and some focus on, and need your kind of attention to shape and mold and to create something new with, and to usher in something collectively that is different than the current. and that this is going to forever change and forever evolve, right? So it's creating that opportunity to create and usher in something new. Alrighty, let's go ahead and pull a Threads of Fate card here and see what comes through. We have Destruction. Whoa, that's super. Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, I sounds like I'm on a broken record because I swear I said this last week. But it definitely was gonna say that, you know, this whole energy is giving, like how I was saying last week, enjoying, like having moments of gratitude and enjoying something, you know, enjoying that sunshine in a sunny afternoon for a second, and to embrace that moment of like accomplishing something, because we know what it's like to fail, and we know what it's like to lose something, and we know what it's like to have destruction. And so this is like coming through again here in remembering us, reminding us why sometimes destruction is very important part of creation, part of life, the cycle of life. You know, there's aspects of that I always say goes beyond our finite understanding. Like, why do we have to lose the people we love? Why don't we live forever? You know, things like that, you know, creativity and life, new life also has this like cosmically close relationship to the other side of things, which I always thought was so interesting, how positives and negatives, or highs and lows, and good and bad, kind of walk this tightrope of a relationship together, because you can't have one without the other. And so this message is coming through here with the Destruction card as well. And then of course we have Patience, which was mentioned here with the ships twice, and now Spirit's like, in case you didn't hear me, exercise your patience a third time, which is not Aries' strong suit. So during this season, you might be running out of a lot of patience, okay? It might be harder for you to be patient during this time period than you usually are. And you might be rolling your eyes when you hear the word patience, you know? But it's now been brought up 3 different times in this reading. So definitely something that we're being asked to kind of wade through, and to exercise patience in this moment with ourselves, with others, with the divine, and the timing that we may not understand how all things fit, etc., etc. So I'm going to go ahead and read the 2 cards here so that you can take in any additional messages that resonate for you. So let's go ahead and see. I always say I have an issue finding the cards on here. Hold up. Here it is. I found it and then it disappeared. Destruction. This card indicates that a choice must be made. And I said that somewhere. Didn't I say that? That you no longer can't take action on something? I swear I said that. It asks you what needs to die today. Maybe it is a limiting belief, an old inherited pattern, or a toxic relationship. Whatever it is time to let go. Sometimes once we identify with what needs to slip from us, it goes easily. Other times it's a slow cycle of releasing and then loosening the grip of our attachment. Be kind to yourself in this process. We establish attachment to things that do not serve us. But knowing something does not serve us doesn't make it easy to let go. I feel like that's really the driving force home of the message. Going back to the Magician card of like, you are capable, you do have all of the tools, but that doesn't mean that it's easy to do the work, whatever the work is. And same thing here. It's like, you may know what it is you need to let go of. You may know what it is that you're doing that isn't, helpful for you in this moment, that isn't helpful to whatever the situation that's on your heart is, right? But that doesn't mean that it's easy for us to actually let go and to do the thing. Especially if it's become part of our identity. This process requires patience. Sorry. Patience, practice, and self-compassion. Yes. And I really feel like it's like this reading, I feel like, is for the person. There's definitely a person who's listening to this reading, and it's like, you know all of these things, right? Like you know it in your head, and you know it, that's yeah, of course I have patience, or I need patience. Like, you could say it to yourself, but it's it's different when it's like we're being asked to continue to live that, and it's like knowing something versus actually being able to embody it, is what's coming through. So let's go ahead and read that patience card now that that word has come up 4 different times in this reading. Is crazy. And see what additional message is here for you on the card patience. All right, patience, as I have patience trying to find the card, says this card brings the message that you must be patient and trust divine timing. Humans are anxious creatures. We know what we want and we want it now. Very Aries. But we also are working in collaboration with the divine, which means that sometimes we have to wait longer than we want. A tadpole cannot rush the seasons. We cannot rush our seasons. We cannot rush the metamorphosis that we need. A tree cannot rush its growth. And this card asks you to have faith. I said that word, faith. Specifically, we're being asked to have faith and to trust the process that is happening in perfect time. To trust that this is all part of your greater, if you've read the book The Alchemist, that's coming through, of like the hero's journey, you know, of your own personal journey, of your own personal treasure. This is giving that energy right now of like knowing that this process, this tension, this moment of having your back against the wall is all part of that greater journey, and to trust that you will be able to do the thing. You will be able to make it happen. You will be able to show up and get it done. You do have all the tools necessary to be victorious, and you will be victorious. You just have to show up every day and to trust and believe in the process, to have faith and to know that everything is happening in perfect timing. This moment of having your back against the wall or of tension and conflict is not a sign that you are doing anything wrong, but a sign that this is necessary for the next evolution of what is to come collectively, individually, etc. Sheesh. Yeah. Alrighty, let's go ahead and pull one more card from the moon deck. Thank you all so much for being here. And let's see what comes through. We have, I am at home in my body and in my spirit. Love that. Healthy boundaries keep me centered and balanced. Yeah. Yes. And the last one, with a steady mind, I am connected to our collective experience. Now, I'm not going to read this because there's 3 different ones that came out. And I usually just pull one and read one description. But I will speak a little bit about these cards. Starting with the Healthy Boundaries card. This card also came out for someone on the Patreon. And it also was reconfirmed when I was speaking to someone else later that day about how important it is to exercise our boundaries. There's been a lot of energy lately since the last end of the year, going into the beginning of this year, of really learning to stand up for ourselves and to no longer budge on the things that we know do not work, whether that's people pleasing or just, saying yes to things, you're like, I don't know. Or, just doing the same thing that doesn't work. Trying to force things to work in any way possible, any capacity, is like, this is that energy of we are no longer doing that. And I literally just posted, before I got on this story, maybe I reposted it, of an astrologer who is on this platform that I love listening to, who posts videos of different energies and things happening in the planets and how it's affecting different signs. And they were talking specifically about how there's a strong pull for specific energies, specific signs. Libra was one of them, Cancer. I think they also said Aries, which all falls under my big 3. And they were saying how this energy is really demanding us to uphold these boundaries and to take no BS. And I've definitely been feeling this. I've been talking about this as well in the content that I've been creating. And I feel like that message is being reiterated here and talked about here. And this card for me has always been a very Libra energy card in the tarot deck, or the oracle deck here, because healthy boundaries and the balance represented in this card is very Libra-like to me. And in order to have greater harmony, we need that balance. You know, we need to have light and dark, you know, the morning and the nights, the good, the bad, the, you know, and healthy boundaries are part of that. And so that kind of message is coming through here with this card as well. I am at home in my body and at peace in my spirit. I feel like this is very much speaking to the collective right now, with everything that's going on in the world, and things that may be going on in our personal life that are really just shaking our spirits and causing a lot of unease and stress and uncertainty and anxiety, you know. And I think this card here is just really reminding us how important it is to stay grounded during this time, to commit to practices that help you feel grounded, whatever that may mean for you. And to, you know, part of being grounded is not to look away at something or to bypass it, but is to making sure that we have a regulated nervous system so that we can respond rather than react. Because then when we react, we are making decisions that are not for the highest good of the situation. But when we respond, we're able to respond and take action in a way that provides us the best outcome. And that's the kind of energy that's coming through with this right here. And lastly, it says, with a steady mind, I am connected to the collective experience. This card's really just, I feel like every time I see this card, it reinforces that while there are many things that happen in our individual lives that make us feel isolated, alone, or like, why me, or why am I being punished by the universe, by God, creator, spirit, etc., or, you know, whatever it may be. And for some of us, it may seem like, man, collectively, this is all just really bad right now, you know? And I feel like this card is a reminder of how connected we are collectively and how powerful our connection to one another collectively is. And by tapping into that collective consciousness, that we can move that needle in ways that we can't even imagine, you know, whether it's something as simple and as small as like, well, you might be one person and you may think, what does it matter to do anything for anything, right? Of whatever it is, right? To help create a better world. But your action that you take, your simple action to choose differently, can create so many different ripples into the universe that you can't even imagine, because it's infinite, the way in which you may touch someone else's life, and that continues to touch the lives of everyone else around you. And I feel like that same message is coming through here of, you know, being that ripple. You know, one of the very first songs I ever released was called The Ripple Effect, and that same message is coming through here of, you know, being that drop in the water that creates ripples all around you, and to hold on to that as you go throughout your week and this time. So these are all the messages. I want to thank your guides, my guides, and the divine for the space today. Thank you so much, y'all, for tuning in to Tian Tarot every single week and being here vibing with your girl. Again, we're going to be moving over to the Patreon platform. So if you are interested in joining us for Tian Tarot again, please drop down below, go to www.moonmagicflows.com and sign up for the Patreon. The lowest membership is $5.55, and that gives you access to all future Tian Tarots. So I will see you guys at the Patreon. And until then, I hope you all are taking good care of yourself. It's been such a pleasure getting to pull for you all here on Instagram every single week. I want to thank your guides, my guides, and the divine for this day and for this time together. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week and an amazing start to your spring season. See you all later. Bye.